Hey, yo, check this out. While everybody's out here crying about the economy, talking about it's tough out here, check this out. The podcast industry hit $2 billion in ad revenue in 2024. You heard right. I said billion with the B. Billion with the B. But here's the kicker. Most of those podcasters started with nothing but their iPhone and a freaking idea. They sat around and came up with some BS, put it on screen or put it on the Apple, and voila. All right. Yet 90% of people I talk to say they want to start a podcast someday. Now, someday means you ain't starting nothing. And we're not talking about family. We're not talking about you sit around and ponder and wish and all of that good stuff. Today's the day. Today is someday that you need to start a podcast in 2025. If you yourself are so tired of watching other people build their platform while you're sitting on the sidelines, coach, put me in, with all of this knowledge in your head, going to freaking waste. And guess what? This episode is definitely for you because I'm about to change everything. Whether you believe it or not, your whole life is about to change.
Hey, solopreneurs. Are you ready to turn your one-person business into a thriving empire? Welcome to the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast with Anthony Porter. Each week, we're bringing you practical tips, real-life stories, and step-by-step frameworks to grow your income, build your brand, and find balance in your business. New episodes drop every Monday at 6 a.m. The perfect way to start your week strong. If you love what you hear, make sure to subscribe, share the podcast with your network, and leave us a review. Your support helps us reach more solopreneurs just like you. Let's grow together. I'll see you on the next episode.
Hey, yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast. All right, I'm your host, Mr. Anthony Porter, and I'm coming to you from the block to the boardroom, baby. I'm coming to you so you can understand that anything that you want to put your mind to and you do consistently can become from an idea to your reality. It's your reality. Listen, I see you out there grinding, building a business, stacking your knowledge, but you're still playing the small ball. You're still playing Robin to your homeboy Batman. Now, you got the wisdom. I see this. I see a lot of people with this wisdom. You got the wisdom. All the lessons, all these amazing stories, but yet you're a gatekeeper. You're keeping this crap stuck, you keep crammed up, cranked up, and tied up into a knot, and you're keeping it in your head. It's like you're keeping the United States' most secretive codes locked up in your head. And I'm not saying, first of all, let's be clear. We're not talking about the codes to the United States. I'm just using this as an analogy because the way that you were sitting on this information is like, you know, when you're looking at the movies and you see a lot of people like bodyguards and people carrying the football, which is the briefcase. That's how you gatekeeping your knowledge, man. Meanwhile, all your idea clients are out here searching for exactly what you have stored up here in the mental status, or should I say the mental stratosphere. Spending money with people who know less than you is ridiculous to me. So today, I'm not asking you to spend no money. You know what I'm asking you to do? Today, I'm going to walk you through how to start a podcast in 2025. The no fluff, no bluff, none of that BS way. All right, it's theoretically, but it's real game. All I'm asking you to do is take action because this stuff moves needles. See, the truth is, podcasting isn't just about being on Spotify or Apple Music. No. It's about building your authority. It's about creating multiple revenue streams. It's about turning your voice into the biggest business asset you could ever think about. Now, by the time we're done here, you're going to have the exact roadmap to launch your new show, attract your dream audience, and turn your podcast into profit. Are you ready? It's no cap from my end, baby. It's no cap over here. So let's get started. One thing you got to understand is when you're trying to start a podcast, you got to get out of your own way. And that starts with a mindset shift. You're not starting a podcast. You're building a media empire. Have you been on Facebook lately? And you have, well, in my city, we got what we call Louisville Hood News. And it's crazy because the streets is always talking about, man, snitches get stitches and blase this and blase that. Well, here's what's funny. Here's what a lot of people don't understand. Back in the day, the only way we knew what went on in other cities is when we listened to entertainers, rappers, tell us what was going on in their city. Now, you have people, and shout out to P News down here in Louisville. You have people like P News. I don't know how she do it, but you have people like P News who pop up at all the scenes. But it's not about reporting. It's about keeping the community tapped in. So when you listen, and I need you to hear me right now, when you're trying to start a podcast, you're not starting a podcast. You're building that media empire. When things pop off in the city, people look for P News. So again, shout out to P News. All right. But you got to understand this, though. You're creating content. You're creating a content machine that's going to work for you for 24 hours a day, 24/7. And that's year round. You're creating something that's working for you year round. And that's what this is all about. So I remember when I first started, my story's a little different. I'm a little older than a lot of people. Okay. Might not look it, might not act it, but I'm a little older than a lot of people. So here's where this comes into play. Me and my homeboys used to have a rap group back in the day. My dude was the producer. He also rapped. I was the writer. I would write my lyrics. I'd be slick with that pen. We had our DJ. Our DJ was a DJ that was rocking the city. We had our homeboy that, made sure everything was together for us. But our DJ, when it came time for us to do a show, rock the house, we called on our DJ Weedy. But as we got older, we wanted to get more behind the scenes and not be out here in the forefront. Things changed. So I remember when I first started podcasting, I got that itch that I wanted to be on the mic again, but I didn't want to rap. See, I thought I was just going to hop onto the mic and just talk. That was wrong. See, I didn't know what podcasting was about. See, that's amateur hour. That's when I'm going to waste a little time today. No, that's not what this is about. What you're really doing is creating the foundation for everything else in your business. See, if you got digital products like courses, if you got coaching, if you're a speaker, if you got book deals, it all starts here. See, everybody needs a podcast, but a lot of people don't understand why you need a podcast. See, most people start to think, and when they thinking, they got somebody in their ear, and they think it's small. They think, I just record a little episode, and maybe a few people will listen. Nah, peoples. Nah, fam. Nah, it ain't how it goes. Think bigger. See, every episode that you create becomes, you ready? It becomes a lead magnet that works while you sleep. It becomes content for social media from weeks to weeks. It's the foundation for your signature course. It's your audition tape for speaking gigs. It's your proof of your expertise for partnerships. So when I shifted my thinking from I'm starting a podcast to I'm building this media empire, Amplified Digital Academy, Amplified Pod Academy, the Solo Empire Network, Solopreneur Chronicles podcast became just that. Everything changed. Money started coming in a little bit more. Opportunities started flowing. People began seeing me as an authority figure for what I like to do. So then I had to think about point number 2. I can't be great being mediocre, but the equipment lie is what was holding a lot of things back. And so when we talk about the equipment lie, we got to talk about that along with what actually matters. See, here's where 90% to 99% of people mess up. They get caught up in the equipment game. I need the perfect mic. I need the perfect studio. I need the perfect everything before I can start. So they sitting on this information for years because, A, they don't have the funds to do it. B, they don't know exactly what is the perfect anything. I literally started with a podcast setup I got from Toomey and recorded my most recent startup podcast. The first podcast I ever recorded, I recorded on my phone. Like I had an iPhone 7. So what I need you to do right now is just stop. Stop it right now. My iPhone, when I recorded, I use Audacity because I didn't know that I could record on GarageBand. Audacity's free. And that was it. My first 50 episodes I ever recorded, I recorded in my work truck, at work, on my lunch break. Not because I had to, but because I refused to let equipment be my excuse. Now, let me give you some juicy tips on what you can and what you actually need, but at a kind of a discounted rate. Okay? So, believe it or not, you already walking around with one of the most important pieces of podcasting in your business, hands down. If you have a phone, maybe you have a Samsung, maybe you have a Google phone, Most people have iPhone. All right. Most of our phones use the lightning cable. But here lately, most of the phones you use a USB-C. So you start with a mic. Get you a mic that has USB-C. That way you can carry this mic along with your phone, charge and record, and be Gucci about what you're doing. You don't have to go out here and spend no money on no free software. Again, let me throw this out to my iPhone people first, because I'm not a Android user per se. I don't know too much about an Android phone no more. But iPhone, you have GarageBand on your phone. Now, I do know that you can put Audacity on your phone. And even for those who have Android, Audacity works on that phone. Now, because I recorded my first episodes when I first started with the iPhone 7, I didn't know that I needed to, because I work in construction, so I didn't know that while I was in my van that I needed to have quiet space to muffle out sounds and things like that. Now I do. This is my studio, soundproof, quality sound, okay? I have things set up to where it bounces, keeps everything not hollow, but keeps everything. So I'm looking around, and I still got some work to do. I really do. But most people, when they record, you might want to go in the closet. You might want to go in the closet, because it works fine, because you got clothes in there that will take and make you sound more natural. And then if by some chance you decide that when you start your podcast that you want to you want to do interviews, then what you need to do is you need to either try Riverside.fm, or most people shoot them on Zoom. Now, lately I've been seeing a lot of podcasts on Facebook, because technically it's free, but technically, okay, and trust me, I'm not throwing shots at nobody, but you have to think about this. People see you on Facebook. You can get as many downloads as you want, but answer the question to yourself. How many brand deals is knocking on your door because you're recording on Facebook? They want to see the data. Now, you can track the data through Facebook. They want to see the data going across different platforms. All right? So just think about that. All right? So that's it. Please stop shopping for equipment and start shipping your content. All right? Because I'm telling you, man, once you get there, you'll understand what I'm saying. Because here's the real truth. The equipment doesn't make the show. The content does. Man, can you imagine sitting around and you listening to podcasts? Like my iPhone right now, I got an iPhone 16 Pro Max. I have 17 podcasts on my phone. No matter what I'm doing during the day, I got a earpiece in, my glasses have the mics on them. So for 8 hours, I'm listening to different podcasts. So I have certain podcasts that I listen to on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Then I have certain podcasts that I listen to on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'm always constantly listening to podcasts because I feel like I might be missing some knowledge. And then when I get done with everything that I need to do in my business and I sit down at night, what puts me to sleep and relaxes me is when I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Jada and Joe podcast. I catch up with the Joe Budden podcast, Drink Champs podcast, $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, Circle of CEOs podcast with Nehemiah Davis. I'm checking out David Shands and Miss Donnie Wiggins over at the Social Proof Network. Got to, because them two right there are the reason why I changed my format. I started doing things a lot different. I started studying between Mr. David Shands and Mr. CJ. I started paying attention more and started understanding what I needed to do to make podcasts my business. So that leads me to point number 3 that I want to make. When you talk content, you got to have a content strategy that actually works. So let's talk about it. You're actually going to say one thing and one thing only, because having a mic doesn't make you interesting. Having a strategy is what makes you interesting. So this is what I call a framework, and I call it the P.R.O.F.I.T method. The first P, problem. Start an episode to identify a specific problem your audience faces. The R is relate. Share how your experience, or you've experienced this problem as well. Of course, you got to get to the O. That's the offer. Give them a solution, a strategy, or shift into the thinking of what they're going to do. Then we got to talk F. That's the framework. Break it down into actionable steps. I, illustrate. Use stories, examples, case studies. And then last but not least is T, the transition. Connect it back to how they can work with you. See, every single episode follows this flow. It builds trust. It provides value. And it naturally leads people to want more from you. See, if you're going to do a podcast, you got to do it right. Everybody wants to have a podcast and get all your homeboys and tell a friend to tell a friend. And that's great. But you either want to be a hood celebrity or you want to take this thing nationwide. And then, of course, you got to crawl before you walk. But if you structure this thing right, you don't know who's paying attention. Here's what people mess up. They try to cover everything in one episode. Can't do it. Ain't gonna work, fam. One problem, one solution, one episode. Go deep, not wide. See, I'd rather you blow someone's mind with the concept than confuse them with 10 different things. Because see, after you get all of that, you got to think about point number 4. You got to think about the distribution game. See, recording the podcast is only 20% of the work. This is where the real magic happens. And again, there's nothing wrong with Facebook. But some of y'all, this is how I know. Some of y'all just want to get on the mic because podcasting is the latest thing. All right, this is how I know. I've seen, first of all, let me say this. Shout out to my guy, Tim. He's got 3 or 4 different podcasts, but his one that I follow the most is called The Basement. Shout out to that, man. Dude's killing it. Tim is on Facebook, but nobody knows the behind the scenes. I'm not going to spill his tea, but I know me and Tim done chopped it up. We both on a whole nother platform. He posts on Facebook, but Tim has a distribution game as well as I do. You record an episode, you upload it to your favorite platform, right? And then there's crickets. Some of y'all have your Facebook podcast, but here's the problem. Y'all so damn private because you scared somebody gonna see something. What? Only a handful of people can see your stuff because of how you have your stuff structured. That's a problem. But then when your friends come on and everybody's on her together, now everybody's make it public. Do this, do that, make it public. So you gotta treat distribution like it's a main event fight. Now here's my content multiplication strategy. All right. So one podcast, one 45-minute to an hour podcast. I'll break that down. I got probably about 8 to 10 social media posts I make out of it. Numerous Instagram reels. It goes up on YouTube because I record everything, video and audio. I make blog posts, LinkedIn posts, carousel posts for both Instagram and LinkedIn. You notice how one piece is repurposed into a whole social media marketing blitz. That's what I want to say. One social media marketing blitz, man. But do you see what I did there? I turned one piece of content into over 30 to 40 pieces of content. I'm trying to attract folk. And then even still, after I turned it, because see, I use some AI tools that a lot of people are scared to use. I use a little Opus Clip. I use a little Copy AI, ChatGPT 5, Claude. I don't have a problem with AI because see, AI helps me do the things and cut a lot of time. But what you don't see is me standing around, hoping, waiting for someone to do. I got a schedule. And I'm going to tell you that schedule here because it's part of the secret sauce. You don't just chop up your content randomly. You extract the gold. You get those quotable memories. You get the mic drops. You get those tips. Each piece of content should be able to stand alone while driving people back to a full episode. So Opus Clip would chop up this particular podcast right now, this episode, because I'm using on video as well. This particular podcast, when I get through chopping this bad boy up, I'll probably have 40 episode short clips for TikTok and Instagram. Guess what I do with it? It's a beautiful thing. I take the YouTube link, drop it in the Opus Clip. Once I drop it in the Opus Clip, it'll chop it up for me. I go in, I add some B-roll footage, AI-wise, add a little music, some stuff that I created. Shout out to my boy for teaching me, DJ John Rock. And then when it's all said and done, I upload it and schedule it out. My schedule goes 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., take a 3-hour break, 7 p.m., 10 p.m., midnight. Midnight, let everybody rest. Because, see, I don't have nothing for you for the Nehemiah Davis info hour. Not yet. Because, see, that comes with point number 5 that we great talk about. So my schedule allows me to get up to the midnight, and then I take the next episode and do the exact same thing. So this is, podcast drops Monday at 6 a.m. By Tuesday, all 40 of those are scheduled to go out before Sunday, leading into Monday. But remember, I said I don't have nothing for the Nehemiah Davis info hour. Who remembers as a kid that you be waiting up watching TV late at night, right before the snow would come on? And then here recently, when TV started staying on late, you had people that would pop up and they be selling like publishing clearinghouse and trying to get you to buy all kind of stuff. That's the info hour. Between 12 and 6 a.m. is the info hour, right? So sometimes this is where you go into part number 5, which is monetizing for one episode. This is the challenge because this right here can overwhelm you. But this is that conventional wisdom that you need to know about. See, everyone says build your audience first, then monetize. That's backwards thinking that keeps you broke. Again, you want to start monetizing from one episode, not with ads. That's amateur hour. You don't want to do that. All right? You don't want to do that at all. See, what you want to do is you want to monetize with your own offers, your own services, your own expertise. You want to prove to these folk that you know what you're doing. You want to build that trust. I'm not saying go out here and try to sell a $5,000 course. I'm not saying that. But how do you start monetizing? All right. So there's so many different ways. Ads with YouTube, the more people you get, the more subscribers you get, the more money you can generate. Right. So think about this. Episodes 1 through 10. Direct people to a lead magnet so you can build your email list. The money's in the list. Episodes 11 through 25. Introduce your entry-level offer or service. And then from episodes 26 and on, you're now promoting your signature program, your high-ticket coaching, your speaking gigs, everything that you get that you've been building in the back office. Now it's time to start promoting them once you get out to episode 26. I hung around with a lot of people who started podcasts, but I had people who wanted to chop it up with me, book discovery calls from my 3rd episode. Some of them got to the 7th episode and they had the same fortune. Not because we was pushy, but because and I say we because now I've entered the fold of the friends that I have around me that do podcasting. We enter value. And we was very clear on how people could make or get more of that good value. So the monetization mindset is definitely there. Your podcast, it isn't a hobby. It's a business asset. Treat it like one. I feel like after studying David Sands and Ms. Donnie Wiggins, Mr. Sands has a saying. Every business needs a podcast. I agree. I definitely agree. It took me about a year to understand what he meant by that, but once I understood it, I agree. So that's where we at, right? Y'all feeling good? I hope y'all felt great because we have come to the portion that we need to, let's talk about this. Look, I gave you the exact blueprint. Now, this is the blueprint I wish I had when I first got started. But here's the thing. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. And I didn't build my empire by entertaining myself. Now, you got 2 choices right now. You can close the app, go back to scrolling, and still be in the same place 6 months from now. Or you can decide, I got some knowledge in my head. Somebody out here need to know this knowledge. And decide today is the day that you stop playing around with this small time BS and start building your media empire. Now, if you're ready for choice number 2, I got something that's probably going to help accelerate everything we just talked about. So I put together this solopreneur playbook. It's the blueprint to my podcasting system, where we talk about systems, templates, and strategies I use to turn a podcast into what I do now is a 6-figure asset. Now, you can get this one or 2 ways. You can buy it if it's on sale, but it ain't on sale. So the other way you get it, it's just join the free community, man. Join the free Solo Empire Network community and get ready to gain some of that go-to knowledge that everybody needs to have. We're building a community as we speak. So guess what? You might get the link and be like, oh man, they faking the funk. No, we're not. We're building. So here's what you're going to find this out. You're going to find a 90-day podcast launch roadmap. You're going to find a content multiplication template, monetizing strategies from every stage, possibly some scripts that I use to convert listeners into clients. So click the link and yeah, let's do that thing, man. Click the link, join the free community, and get ready to, because it's free. It's definitely free. But we want you to be able to understand that building a community is a lot more important in 2025 with your podcast. So building your podcast and building a community or being in a community of like-minded individuals is so important because you got a social network to lean on. The rich didn't get rich by doing it by themselves. They had people that they could lean on. There's no more gatekeeping. If you want to gatekeep, don't think about joining the community. If you want to be successful, the link's going to be in down below. All right. So y'all understand that? Y'all got it? All right, cool, man. So Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And your business deserves to be at a level of exposure nobody else can take from you, all right? Go get it. I'll see you in the next episode. From me to you, from you to me, I holla.
Thanks for tuning in to the Solopreneurs Chronicles podcast. I hope today's episode gave you the insights and inspiration you need to take the next step in your business journey. If you enjoyed the show, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and share this episode with a fellow solopreneur. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us reach more people just like you. Let's thank our producers of the show, Sincere and Charlie Straughter, Rhea Cash and Theory Porter. So don't forget, for more tips, tools, and resources, subscribe to the show. So just keep building, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.